Welcome to Movie Vault. Today, we're heading back to Hawkins, Indiana for another deep dive into the strange and supernatural world of Stranger Things. This time, we're tackling Season 3, a season filled with bigger stakes, new threats, and explosive action. Summer has arrived, but just because school is out doesn't mean the dangers of the Upside Down are gone. In fact, things are about to get a whole lot worse. A secret Russian conspiracy, a terrifying new creature, and the return of the Mind Flayer. It's all here in Stranger Things Season 3. So grab your egos, turn up your 80s playlist, and let's break it all down. Episode 1, Susie, Do You Copy? It's June 1985, and Hawkins has changed. The brand new Starcourt Mall is the town's biggest attraction, drawing people away from small businesses, including Joyce Byers' Radio Shack-style store. But while the town is focused on shopping, something far more sinister is happening below the surface. In Russia, scientists are working to reopen the gate to the Upside Down. After a failed experiment, the Russians set their sights on Hawkins, where a portal might still be active. Meanwhile, in Hawkins, romance is in the air. Mike and Eleven are in full-on teen love mode, spending nearly every second together, much to the frustration of Hopper, who is struggling with his role as Eleven's adoptive father. Lucas and Max are also a couple, while Dustin returns from science camp claiming to have a mysterious new girlfriend named Susie. But when he tries to reach her over his new radio tower, there's no response. Elsewhere, something strange is happening to rats around town. They begin acting erratic, gathering in abandoned warehouses, before suddenly exploding into goo. That goo begins merging together, forming something terrifying. And finally, we check in on Billy Hargrove, who works as a lifeguard at the community pool. One night, while driving, he's attacked by something and dragged into an abandoned steel mill, the birthplace of a horrifying new creature. Episode 2, The Mall Rats. Hopper, fed up with Mike and Eleven's relationship, threatens Mike to back off, causing a rift between the young couple. Meanwhile, Joyce notices that her magnets are mysteriously losing their power, leading her to suspect something strange is happening again. Steve Harrington, now working at Scoops Ahoy in the mall alongside new character Robin Buckley, is having a rough summer. But things take a turn when Dustin tells them he intercepted a coded Russian transmission. Meanwhile, Billy wakes up in the steel mill, confused and terrified. He sees himself, a dark and twisted reflection, and hears a chilling message: take him to the source. He's no longer in control. The Mind Flayer is back, and Billy is its new host. Episode 3 to 4, The Case of Billy Hargrove and the Sauna Test. Nancy and Jonathan, now interning at the Hawkins Post, investigate the case of diseased rats, discovering that they are connected to the same goo that overtook Billy. Eleven uses her psychic powers to spy on Billy and sees something terrifying. He has kidnapped another lifeguard, Heather, and brought her to the steel mill, where the Mind Flayer is turning people into its army. Meanwhile, Hopper and Joyce investigate strange energy readings, which lead them to Mayor Klein, who they discover is working with the Russians. At the mall, Steve, Dustin, Robin, and Luca's little sister, Erica Sinclair, who steals every scene she's in, manage to sneak into a secret Russian base beneath Starcourt Mall. Meanwhile, the kids test their theory that Billy is possessed. They lure him into the community pool's sauna, forcing the Mind Flayer to reveal itself inside him. Billy nearly escapes, but before he does, he gives Eleven a message. We're going to end you, and when you let us in, you are going to lose. Episode 5-6, The Flayed and E Pluribus Unum. Nancy and Jonathan's investigation leads them to discover that many Hawkins residents have already been possessed by the Mind Flayer, including their old boss. At the mall, Dustin and the Scoops Ahoy gang discover a massive Russian facility underneath Hawkins. The facility is working on reopening the gate to the Upside Down, which would allow the Mind Flayer to fully return. Meanwhile, Eleven, Mike, and the gang track down the missing people in Hawkins and realize the Mind Flayer is using them to grow stronger. When Eleven tries to use her powers to locate the monster, she sees a horrifying vision of its true form. It's a massive, fleshy, spider-like creature, far larger than the Demogorgon. As the monster grows, it begins its final attack on Hawkins. Episode 7-8, The Bite and the Battle of Starcourt. The gang takes refuge in Hopper's cabin, but the Mind Flayer attacks, trying to kill 11. In a desperate battle, 11 is bitten and severely wounded. Meanwhile, Hopper, Joyce, and Murray Bauman infiltrate the Russian base, planning to destroy the machine keeping the gate open. Steve, Robin, Dustin, and Erica escape from the base and reunite with the group at Starcourt Mall, where the final battle begins. The Mind Flayer arrives, intent on killing 11, but she fights back, though she realizes she has lost her powers. Just when all hope seems lost, Billy, despite being controlled by the monster, breaks free and sacrifices himself to save 11. Inside the Russian base, Hopper and Joyce reach the machine powering the portal. But when things go wrong, Hopper is trapped inside the blast zone. With no other choice, Joyce turns the key, shutting the gate and seemingly killing Hopper. The Mind Flayer collapses and dies, and Hawkins is saved, but at a heavy cost. The heartbreaking ending and post-credit scene. 3 months later, Hawkins is forever changed. The Byers family, devastated by everything that's happened, leaves town, taking 11 with them. Mike and 11 share an emotional goodbye, promising to reunite. But the biggest shock comes in the post-credits scene. In a Russian prison, guards feed a prisoner to a Demogorgon. Before they do, one guard mentions, "Not the American." Hopper might still be alive. Final thoughts. Season 3's explosive action and emotional weight. Stranger Things. Season 3 raised the stakes like never before. The Mind Flayer returned, 11 lost her powers, Billy sacrificed himself, and Hopper was presumed dead. But the war isn't over. With Hopper possibly alive and the Russians in control of a Demogorgon, things are only going to get more dangerous from here. What was your favorite moment from Stranger Things Season 3? And where do you think the story will go next? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more deep dives into your favorite movies and TV shows. Until next time, stay strange.